her in just a few minutes if you will spend that time with her. I said, well, Laurie, tell her to meet me backstage. I'll get there about 10 minutes early. My schedule was such that was about all I had. Well, I got there, and I was on backstage behind the curtain on one side. She spotted me from the other side, and as she walked across the stage, I have never seen as much anger in a human being in my life as I saw in her. She almost started crying when she saw me. She said, oh, I'm just so glad to see you. I got this horrible job. I hate it. I hate everything about it. I hate everybody down there. I mean, you talking about negative nails, she was it. She said, can you help me? Now, understand, I've only got about 10 minutes. So I looked at her, and one thing I have learned, I don't do counseling, but I talk with a lot of people who do, in psychology, psychiatry, and the ministry. And they tell me that everybody who comes to you with a problem are not necessarily looking for a solution. I couldn't understand that for a long time. Why do they bring you a problem if they don't want to solve it? Well, I can tell you why. They want to tell you about it, you about it, you about it, you about it, and you about it. And if you foul up the deal and solve the problem, they can't tell you again, you again. They want the attention that goes with the problem, and every company just about it has that kind of an individual. They want the attention that goes with griping and complaining. Well, I looked at the lady, and it wasn't unkindly, but firmly I said to her, yes, and you know, ma'am, I'm afraid your problem is about to get worse. She said, what do you mean? I said, I believe they're going to fire you. She was stunned. I couldn't have stunned her more if I'd hit her in the face with a bucket of ice water. She said, fire me? Why on earth would they fire me? The inflection in her voice clearly said, they're the bad guys, I'm the good guy. Why don't they fire them and keep me? Have you ever noticed that people who are the problem never recognize that they are? They're in complete denial. They think denial is just a river in Egypt. Why would they fire me? I said, ma'am, I don't believe there's a company in America big enough to contain this much poison in one small spot. Have you ever noticed that when somebody is about to lose something they've been complaining about, whether it's a car, a home, a mate, a job, or whatever, when all of a sudden it appears they're going to lose them, it takes on brand new value. She looked at me and said, well, what can I do? I said, do you really want to know? She said, yes, I do. That's the reason I came to see you. I came looking for help, but you sure haven't been any help so far. I said, well, ma'am, I've got an idea, and I will absolutely guarantee you it positively, definitely, absolutely will work if you will just do it. She said, I'll try anything within reason. I said, okay, when you get home tonight, all of your household tasks are complete. It's bedtime. Get off in a room right by yourself. Get a sheet of paper out, and at the top of it, write, I like my job because. She interrupted me. She said, that'll be easy. I don't like nothing about that job. Don't like nothing about those people down there. And I said, well, just as a matter of curiosity, do you work there for benevolent reasons, or do they pay you for working there? She said, well, I got to confess, they pay me. And I said, and you don't like to be paid? Oh, she said, yes, I do. I said, okay, tell you what you do. Open your notebook right now. We'll start our list of the things you like about your job. They pay you for working there, and you do like it, don't you? She said, absolutely. But she just stood there. I said, no, open your notebook now, and we'll get busy on the list. She just stood there. I said, ma'am, let me tell you what my experience in life has been. I've discovered that in 100% of the cases, no exceptions, people who won't take step number one never take step number two. You see, she had come to me with an impossible dream. Her dream was that nice Mr. Ziegler was going to solve all of her problems, and she would live happily ever after. But folks, I got news for you. I can't solve her problems. I can't solve your problems. But I will give you some steps that I'll absolutely, definitely, and positively will work for you, as it worked eventually for her. I said, well, ma'am, let me tell you something. Unless you're willing to take step number one right now, it's been nice talking with you. She angrily opened her notebook. Before we got through, there were 22 things she liked about her job. Not only did they pay her for working there, they paid her above average. She had 3 weeks vacation with pay. She had a retirement program. She was in on profit sharing. She had health insurance, life insurance, and accident insurance. She lived less than 10 minutes from home. She was in on management decisions. The company sent her to 3 seminars a year to be paid for. She had her own private office and parking place. 22 things that she liked about her job. Now I said, man, when you get home tonight, everything is finished. Get off in a room right by yourself, close the doors, change one word from I like my job to I love my job. Get in front of that mirror, and folks, I cannot say this strongly enough, but I'm going to try. The eyes are the windows of the soul. Look yourself in the eye, and with excitement and enthusiasm, say, I love my job because they pay me for working there. I love my job because they pay me above average for working there. I love my job because they have a wonderful insurance program. I love my job before every one of the statements. You will sleep better that night. You see, there's something hidden in what I'm saying to you now. When she says, I like my job, she's really saying, I'm grateful for my job. And of all of the emotions we can have, according to Hans Selye, the #1 stress specialist in America, the healthiest of all human emotions is gratitude. I said, you go down that list. I like my job. I love my job, rather. That is a way of gratitude. You'll sleep better the first night. Tomorrow morning, when you get up, get back in front of the mirror just before you go to work. Get back in front of the mirror and repeat the process again with excitement and enthusiasm. I love my job because, and take the list with you. Because the reality is, you see, you will have started to change from a fault finder to a good finder. Some people do really find fault like there's a reward for it. They really do. Take the list with you, and you will be able to add to that list, absolutely guaranteed. Do this every morning and every night, and you will have an astonishing recovery from this advanced case of stinking thinking. Now, I didn't say that to her, but I'm saying it to you. That's what it was. It was an advanced case of stinking thinking. Well, 6 weeks later, I was back in Birmingham, Alabama. I was doing a follow-up sales seminar. Now, the lady was not in sales, but she had been listening to my tapes. She had been listening to Automobile University, and she had discovered that everybody sells. Everybody who will ever hear this is in selling. Whether you're a school teacher, a civil service worker, a military personnel, an executive secretary, it doesn't make any difference. What you do, you sell every day of your life. There she was at the sales seminar, seated on the front row, grinning so wide she could have eaten a banana sideways. I'm telling you, you're talking about somebody that was excited. She was turned on. I said, well, how you done? She grinned even more broadly and said, Mr. Ziegler, I'm doing wonderfully well, and thank you for asking. She said, you cannot believe how much those people down there have changed. I got to lay it on the line, folks. You're not going to change anybody else till you change you. Everything really does begin with you. Now, you see, the unfortunate thing, this lady had been raised in a very negative environment. First, her parents had told her that she'd never amount to anything. They had said, you know, you're always late, you're always sloppy, why can't you be like your brother or your sister or whatever? When she got married, her husband had continued it, and so her self-talk had become completely negative. Everything that she said about herself was negative. Like Dad said, I'll never amount to anything. Or like my husband says, I can't do anything right. But when she started changing the input, then some radical change.
What's up, Fire Nation? Another bonus episode coming your way. This one was a great chat. I had a lot of fun with Terry Wilson. Terry is a serial entrepreneur who offers entrepreneurs and solopreneurs the tools, training, and technology needed to earn and enjoy more. For the past 13 years, he's helped thousands of hungry individuals discover their thing, develop the skills to do it, and be given a strategy to deliver it to market and produce value. Terry has a weekly podcast that can be heard on iTunes, Stitcher, and at terrywilson3.com. He also wrote a book called You Are Worth More, which you can check out at youareworthmorebook.com. We have a lot of fun in this episode, Fire Nation. I truly hope you enjoy. It's hard. It is hard work to achieve uncommon success. But you know what else is hard, Terry? being broke.
You better believe that.
Living paycheck to paycheck, not being able to support your loved ones, not being able to support yourself, not being able to get up in the morning and do something that you want to do, but doing something you have to do. That's hard too. So Terry, my call to action for everybody here is choose your hard. Like back in 2012, it was hard. I spent 32 years of my life doing hard work and making the wrong decision on choosing my hard. I was going down the wrong path. I wasn't having any success. But then I flipped it and I said, you know what? Building this business, Entrepreneurs on Fire, it's going to be hard work. But the alternative is hard too. So I choose the hard of building a life of freedom, of building a life of choice, of building a life of uncommon success. And that's my call to action to everybody hearing our voices today. Choose your hard.
Choose your heart. Boy, I love that. You know, because there's a high cost of low living. And sometimes we think that, you know, we're just going to get out of this easy by taking the path of least resistance. And boy, sometimes the end of that path is just a tiger. I'm telling you, brother, I'm telling you.
Identify your big idea. Not be a weak, pale imitation of somebody else's big idea, which most people do. They're like, oh, look at what Terry's doing. He's so successful. Look what John's doing. I'll just copy them. And then you wonder why you fail, because you're a weak, pale imitation of those people and you will never win as a result. You need to come up with your big idea, your zone of fire, and wake up every day on fire, living that life. That is the life that you deserve. Because what at the end of the day do we really want? Freedom. The ability to wake up and do what we want, where we want to do it, with whom we want to do it with. If you have those three things, what more is there in life? And you can give yourself that gift. Just take it.
Which is identifying why are you here? You know, I like to say it this way. You're not a cosmic accident. You didn't show up on planet Earth because lightning struck a mud puddle billions of years later and you crawled out. You're a significant person with a significant reason for being here. There's a reason for you to be here. And once you identify that big idea, as John just said it, life becomes, oh my gosh, becomes unimaginable. Give us another. Go ahead.
Just on that point real quick. I mean, I think it's so key for people to understand this, like what Terry is just sharing. There is so much wisdom out there in this world, but there's also so much noise and it's chaotic. And sometimes it's so hard to really cut through all of this and to really get to the meat and potatoes, to really get down to what matters.
Does anyone know Terry's story, what Terry did?
I do.
So Terry sold musical instruments, sold pianos, right? And what was it? Was it 9/11 that created the problem?
Yeah.
9/11 creates a problem. Nobody wants to go. There's no money in town anymore. It's a brick and mortar store. Some woman comes up to him in church, some older woman, and she's like, I was thinking about your problem, and the Lord told me you should sell them on the computer. Sell your pianos on the computer. And Terry's like, that's a great idea. I got to get out of here because you're crazy. So, of course, he does it in that sweet way where he says, oh, bless your heart. And
Bless your
he
heart.
thinks about it. And then he's like, you know, he told me about the story about, you know, the guy, it's a flood and, you know, you should get out. No, the Lord's going to save me. And at the end, he goes to God and says, why didn't you save me? He's like, I did. You know, I tried. I sent you the news report. I sent you a helicopter. You know. So Terry takes that and he's like, God's telling me what to do here, right? So I should do. That was the message. I should sell these things online. His first thought when the woman tells him that is, how am I gonna, because she said her grandson sold CDs.
On eBay.
Terry's like, how am I, you could just put them, I can't put a stamp on a piano. This is crazy.
Drop it in the mailbox.
Yeah, so the next day, right? The next day he starts sells them out in a week. So he doesn't think about, he doesn't latch on to his idea of I can't ship these things cheaply, right? He just goes past that. He goes, well, what's my first solution? My first solution is I got to sell these things. That's all he's thinking about. He sells out his whole inventory in a week. Then the problem comes to him. How do I get rid of these things? I've now sold them. How do I deliver them? So what would you guys have done?
Hire a U-Haul.
Welcome to TerryWilson3.com. Decade of helping others
Discover, develop, and monetize your skills and talents at TerryWilson3.com.
This is the Terry Wilson. Really, I'm excited, Terry. I want to get started.
You're the real deal, right? You're the genuine article.
Right now, Terry, I'm so inspired after listening to you for the last 25, 30 minutes to go back and do about 400 things. You got me so jazzed up.
I'm still blown away by your story.
When I think of Terry Wilson, I think about the comeback kid.
You're like a cousin or an uncle that I just want to hang out with.
Terry, you have made a huge impact in my life.
Can't possibly say enough good things about you except it's that I love you.
Here's your host, Terry Wilson.
Welcome, everybody. You are listening to the TW3 podcast. This is episode 504. Terry likes to do midweek podcasts. If you listened last week, it was 502. I'm also confused. That's weird. We jumped 2 weeks.
Well, it's in the middle. The Thursday podcast, you guys aren't here.
Oh.
It's just a traditional podcast with me in here.
Well, that sounds like it's awful. What's the point?
Well, it is. It's terrible. Don't listen to the odd numbers. I've always tell people that.
So that's the one that we do on Thursdays?
Just skip those, yeah.
Gotcha.
And just listen to the Monday podcast.
Well, it's episode 504. The time is getting away from us. We're already in 2022. If you didn't know, leads are the lifeblood of any business or organization. Whether you're in school, church, a private practice, retail, or restaurant, or just a salesperson, there's one common denominator to everyone: leads. Without a consistent, predictable stream of fresh people to see what you offer, your organization's health is in danger. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. Leads that you can get for less than 2 cents that also convert.
2 pennies, wow.
2 pennies.
And tonight, we're offering to non-members of TW3 5 free leads and a training on how you can create leads on demand for almost nothing.
What?
Yeah, seriously.
That's crazy.
Go to terrywilson3.com/5 free offer. That's terrywilson3.com/5 free offer. There, you will get 5 free leads and a training on how we generated them for you too. This is for non-members, as members already will have this in training and more in their back office.
5 free leads.
That's right.
It reminds me of that Subway commercial. $5 footlong.
Yeah, they made that really catchy. And then,
now
inflation, they're going off for $5 footlongs.
It definitely wasn't Jared.
But I remember the song.
Yeah. That was pre-Brandon.
Pre-Brandon.
Yeah. Well, guys, tonight, up until the very hitting the go button on the podcast, we have been dealing with leads. Yep. I mean, managing the leads, curating them, getting them in the right campaigns. Leads are on fire.
It's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
To go, we have all these people, because right now what we're running into is me and you just can't talk to all of them.
No, that's
it's not viable for us to be the ones that talk to every single, but that's a good thing to have. So then you start going, that's when you start scaling a business and you go, well, we got all these guys.
Hey man, what are you doing? You need some leads here.
We got some people that need following up with. So.
It is. It's a great problem to have. And I think if you're adverse to problem solving, self-employment can be challenging. And so let's just pull the curtains back a little bit and show the folks. We've got leads that come in, and some of them, some days you come in and say, oh my gosh, every person I talk to is going to be. And then like today, we started a new campaign last week. And while the front part of the campaign, which is getting a bunch of people in, has been developed and it's working, that nurturing part and sort of whittling it down and make that qualifying process before they even speak to you, we're still working on. And so you've out and spoken to some that probably this just isn't the thing.
Yeah. I will say, though, with our tools, with everything that we have to offer as far as our software goes, being able to come up with solutions for our current problem is awesome.
Yeah. Because we know what the problem is and we know how to solve it. It's just a matter.
And I know with other businesses, and we'll probably get into this later in the podcast, but I know personally, like other businesses that are really, really struggling to just manage their clients. It's not even about getting more clients. We have other clients that we can get, and now the problem is, well, how do we manage them? And I think we're doing a pretty good job. We've got a bunch of different pipelines set up. We're still in the process of working a lot of this to where, even more of the people that we're speaking to are going to be sort of ready and primed. And so for us, it's really nice that I can look at, our software solutions and go, oh yeah, It's great to have this problem and not that problem.
Yeah,
So-
and the time period between discovering what the issue is and being able to program and modify
Yep.
is so much shorter than what it used to be, because back, just 8 months ago, pre this app,
Yeah.
we had all these moving components, and I literally had to, okay, how does Elementor work with this? And then can I get Zapier to connect with this to make this? And so it was a huge ordeal. Like, and some of the problems we had, we just kept them as problems because the energy, effort, cost to tweak this little thing was so aggravating. It just wasn't worth the fix.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, oh, okay, yeah, we got to fix this. Boom, boom. Take this. Make sure this text goes out here. Send them this video first. See if we can weed them out. Tell them the old Chris Miller go away.
But I'm thinking like just that. But our problem right now is just going, well, what's the best way to effectively communicate with all these different people? Because we know where they're coming from. We know when we've spoken to them. We know how to, we know everything.
Well, we know all the analytics that we need to know.
Yeah. But I'm looking at, we're dealing with a thing with our apartment complex right now. I should just start bringing in.
Let's go ahead.
Let's just
deal with this right now.
Let's just open it up. This is my therapy a little bit. No, but seriously, and honestly, I'm telling you people now because my long-term goal for this, I want to talk to the owner of who owns my apartment complex and be like, the issue they have is they can't get us an email, right? That's literally
just cannot get us an email.
They have a CRM system,
right?
But they've either hired new employees that have no working computer experience, or their CRM is really difficult to use. I'm not sure. Either is a possibility. But they can't get us an email. I've gone into that office 5 times over like a week period, and each time I swear, I promise you, people, I'm being as kind and like what I recorded one of my conversations just so you could kind of get like, this is what I'm dealing with.
This is the temper.
I'm being as nice as possible, and their solution for a lot of this is just, well, we sent it again, and you go.
But it's not.
I don't have the email.
Cannot change the email.
And so this is what I'm thinking. I'm walking them through this. I'm going, well, how about you send a text, or how about you just update the email address, or how about I create a new one on my server and we'll set everybody up under the same server because I know I get it on one address, right?
Right.
I'm offering all these solutions,
trying to solve a problem.
And the reason that I can offer all these different solutions is because of our tools,
right?
And so what it's led me to be is this position where I'm going, hey, I'd really like to talk to whoever has the money involved in this operation, because whoever's investing in stuff needs to invest in a new CRM. Yeah. And I would love to be the guy that helps you fix this problem, because realistically, and I would imagine this is problems everywhere, we hear it all the time.
Right.
Either you're at dentistry and you can't reach out to your clients, you own a very nice apartment complex with 400 tenants and you just can't communicate effectively. We've got fixes for all of that.
Yeah.
You could tag exactly each person by their room. You can make a note if they've ever had problems before. If you have any issues getting them to sign the lease, you got 4 different options.
Triggers that you can set up.
And it's like if you have an email list that
all of this is solvable.
Yeah. If you only want to send, you got a problem with some of the Wofford students smoking marijuana in the complex and you can all smell it. It's first floor. Why don't we just send an email just to the first floor? Oh, look at that. I've tagged every single one of your people that are just on the first. And so it's like every single.
You can tag pot smoker, non-pot smoker.
Pot smoker. He wears a beanie all the time. This one doesn't. This guy's got a nose. No, but I'm just saying, it's like you've got all of these tools, and what we're doing though, and this is what's so funny. It's like, think of where we started.
Yeah.
We're in the insurance market.
Yeah.
We're dealing to people that are doing direct sales, car sales. They got an agency for real estate or insurance. But in that same sentence where you can fix their problems, I swear I can turn around and look at this other thing that's not related in any way, has nothing to do with a business opportunity. And I can still go, hey, for $2,000, $200 a month, I've got a suite of tools that would fix every single one of these problems.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're dealing with people that are, it's not, and it's not them individually. It's just there's a mindset at a certain level that, hey, I don't get paid to solve problems. I just get paid to push this button, and that's all I do. And so if it's outside of that, sorry, I pushed it again, and that's frustrating. It's very frustrating, and that's why you have to talk to someone on up. And that's when we're talking to our audience. If you're wanting to transition from being just a worker bee to someone that's got control of their life, that can earn what they want, work when they want, do all that. That's one of the mindset transitions that you have to sort of go through.
Yep.
And most people, myself included, don't realize nor appreciate the level of conditioning employment has done to us. Because An employee mindset is I go in, I did this, I worked hard, and I showed up on time, therefore I'm owed. Whereas an entrepreneur, I'll work 16 hours, do everything right, and get nothing for it.
Yeah, and there's nobody.
And nobody cares either.
Nobody cares. There's nobody to blame. It's just you. Yeah.
It's just, because it's just the way it works. And so you have to be sort of in that mindset and understand that dynamic. Otherwise, it gets frustrating. Yeah. But one of the things that mitigates the frustration is having a methodology that gets you in front of good qualified people and has activity. And I'll tell the audience, we've been doing this for several years, and I've told you this on the phone, I just now feel like we've hit our stride. Mm-hmm. I mean, we really have with these new tools, the things that was conceptual and we would do on a large basis with one particular market, now we can duplicate and do this
very easily duplicated too.
It is so the programming time and the like I said, the time period between recognizing, okay, here's the problems I have to solve, and then bringing solution to market.
Yeah.
Is literally hours instead of months.
Which you're going to get into it, but in this market and this climate, it's never been more valuable.
Let's get into it.
Go for it.
One of the questions is, what makes TW3 valuable? And I'm going to skip down to talking point number 2 in the opening here. You've heard me say it for over 13, going on 14 years, that TW3 is very valuable no matter what business you want to go into. And if you don't get TW3, you're going to have to get something like it. Otherwise, you're going to struggle. Well, you brought this to my attention. I then heard it on another.
Oh, you said I didn't know if you were going to mention that.
No. You brought it to my attention, and then I forgot.
Yeah.
And then I was scrolling through TikTok, and I got this. There's this guy that goes, websites you should know about.
Yeah.
Have you seen that guy?
Yeah, I've seen his stuff before.
Or websites you didn't know existed or something like that.
Yeah.
And he brings up this website called, and I don't want to misspeak, Quiver, Quiver, Quant, QUANT.com. And that sounds like it's a dirty word or something. I know. Yeah. That sounds awful, but it's
they do a really cool thing though. They curate.
They make
it easily readable.
Quantitatively put together these analysis of some specific people in our country and what they are doing.
Yep.
And who are these people? These are the people that knows what regulations and laws are coming out that's going to modify economic behavior, societal behavior. And who are these people?
They're senators.
And
there are Congress people.
Yeah. If you want to know where your senators and Congress people are putting their money, where are they investing their money?
Which this is public knowledge.
It's public knowledge.
But it's good to check back every couple months.
Check back.
Because I checked last week, a week and a half ago, and I wasn't on Quiver, I was on the SEC.
And I don't want to mention the name of the company because they're not paying us.
Right.
We're paid to advertise TW3.
I think you can just say CRM though.
But they're another CRM lead generation, marketing, lead nurturing company that's on a much grander scale than we are. It's a household name for business people.
Well, it's a $1 billion corporation.
Yeah, I mean...
Scale wise,
I mean, we're a drop in the a pea bucket.
But hey, we use that to our advantage.
We use that to our advantage in the fact that number one, they're in the same space. We're the small fish, they're the big fish. But here's the thing: what's going on with our congressmen and senators? What are they doing?
I don't want to spoil it for you. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, so in the last 60 days, you can track what the most purchased and sold stocks are. And the most purchased by a wide margin was this company. Yeah.
Which is
in the last 60 days.
Sort of our...
Is our bread and butter.
Our bread and butter.
And the reason we said it works to our advantage, I've been using this a lot in our sales calls and stuff, just as a practical standpoint. We see the real world application of our tools, right?
Right.
I see a day-to-day where I'm going, appointments, emails, texts, things that people
You're
need.
using the very tools that you're...
We use it for our company, and then I see other companies that don't use something and how it affects their business. And I'm looking at it, and I'm like...
I really want to help you.
Man, I can make money and you could keep happy clients. This would be a great relationship.
It's a win-win.
Yeah, I would maybe not want to move out now. No, but you see the real world application and you see the numbers to back it up that, money is being poured into this because what do we think that they would expect, right?
Right.
Work's going to work from home. Work is moving away from the office. We realized that if anything, from
everybody's going remote.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense too. Why would you invest in a leasing space when you could just hire out all your employees? Studies show that they're more effective working from home. They work more efficiently, and then you save money in the local cost of paying for a place for them to work.
Right.
So what do you need? Oh, you need a system to manage all your business.
Right.
You need what we have. And so for the guys that I'm talking to that are looking into getting into our business for the business opportunity, right? Perfect time to do it. Everybody needs this.
Now, I want to stop right there for just a second. Think about this. One of the things that if you're reselling our marketing tools, whether it be our CRM, our lead generation, our website, all the different suite of tools, online tools that we have to manage leads, create leads, all of that stuff. Mm-hmm. One of the arguments, the pushback, well, what makes this, I was told that I could get into this, insurance business or this real estate business or this work from home peels through lotion and potion spandex pants business. What makes yours more valuable? Well, look at where people in the know are saying the market is going.
Yeah. Yeah. The money.
It's not
there.
us. It's
right.
validated by follow the dollars.
Right.
And even if you want to be in one, and I say that tongue in cheek, I'm not trying to throw shade.
Yeah,
Everybody's got their own product, good or service that they believe in. Go do it.
Yeah.
The point is,
and some stretchy pants are awesome. I'll be the
some
first
stretchy
one.
pants. I actually could.
Yeah.
Well, never mind. But
oh shoot, I forgot your Christmas gift.
But the point is, even if you're in one of those businesses, you got to have what we're talking about, or you're not going to be successful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's not sustainable.
No, there's a need for it. Whether you like what we do or not is irrelevant. This is the kind of the sales pitch I've got. It's like whether you like, us, irrelevant. Don't join us. That's fine. Seriously, go find another one that does like us.
But you're going to need this
because this right here, this is what people need. They need something to manage their clients. Now, what makes what we do really, really cool? We open it up to where, hey, if you want to sell just the tools, right? You can do that. Just sell the tools, sell them separately. We let our elite members do that. They can sell components, If you want to get started and just make a 10% commission on wholesale, no money down, you just want to sell our stuff, we've got an option for that. Our sales rep, you don't pay anything to start with us. You don't do anything we don't get any money from you. Okay. Yeah. The whole idea is we know our stuff's valuable. We know somebody's going to buy it somewhere. So why don't you go make a little bit of money and make us some money too?
Next time you're in a restaurant, hey, how would you like to have a digital menu? Next
time you're dealing with your housing tenancy and they don't have any of your emails and they don't have any solutions to fix it, you got the solution.
Next time you're trying to get your windows tinted and it's making it impossible to get an appointment. Yeah. Next time you're getting your hair cut and you have to call the person and do this and go back and forth to get an appointment.
That's what makes it so cool. I mean, it's a thing that everybody needs. And here's the craziest part, because this is the part where I get into the numbers with our guys. If you actually want to start up with us, you want to become one of our licensed reps, you want to become a sales rep and trainer, the thing that we do is we offer everything that the other guy, the one that everybody's investing in, right, is offering, right? Every single thing that they can do, we can also do. Here's the difference. It's cheaper, and we offer training.
Yeah.
That's the big difference. Our prices are cheaper. You can go look at them.
And what comes with that training? We actually show you how to make money with these tools.
Yeah.
It's like when you go out and buy a WordPress, or you go buy WP Forms, or you go get one of these other CRMs with these big boys, big box companies.
And there's no shade on them.
There's no shade, but all you have is the tool. Yeah. All you have is just the tool. Mm-hmm. How do you make money? How do you monetize that?
Yeah.
I'm in insurance. Well, the only way how can you make money with generating leads even when you don't sell them that insurance or that real estate or get them into the store to buy whatever?
And I'm just looking, because I would imagine a lot of the companies that we're dealing with are buying the big boy purchase, right? Probably.
Yeah.
What you can do when you're in this business is you can go, hey, I can save you money on what you're using currently, right? Because the prices are going to be cheaper. That's number one. And then number two is we've also got a full staff that supports it. They'll take tickets if you have any ticket questions. And it's also pretty streamlined and easy to use. But even if you need it, there's training videos on how to use this tool as well as monetize this tool if you'd like to.
Yeah.
Nobody else is doing that right now. I'm not saying they won't. They might do it in the future, but the idea is we did it first. We're doing it better.
Yeah.
So,
River, you'll like this because I know you got into podcasting. Did y'all podcast over the weekend, by the way?
Yeah, we did.
Okay, it's cool. Well, I'm in all of these forums, and I get hit up a lot, and one of them tagged me and asked me a question, and they were wanting to know how to grow their podcast because a lot of people working from home are doing podcasts and stuff like that. And what do you think most people's advice was? And this is where I sort of blew up on that forum.
Market it.
Well, yeah, but how to get that? How does people get their podcast out to where it's heard? What do you think the general advice was?
You answer. My guess.
Okay, I'll answer.
Yeah.
Put it everywhere.
Put it out on social media.
Yeah, put it everywhere. Create social media to market it. Boost those social media posts to where other people see it. Tell friends and family. Just try to get the word out there.
Yeah,
what's the actual answer?
Good. No, that's good answers. But here's the one thing that everybody missed. And I said, now, I'm not saying everything I've done is right, but I do think the one thing I did that most people don't is I captured everybody's name, number, and email address. And the reason why, because I'm a nobody. That's, up until last year, I had nobodies on my podcast. No names. Well, 2 years ago, I started getting some high profile guests. But most people think, well, because the general advice was share it on all your social media channels, even pay advertisement, try to go after and interview people, high profile interview people, which is all great advice.
Yeah.
But I had numbers before I had all that. And it was simply because I had my podcast put on my blog and I was capturing people's name and info as it came in all the time so that, when another podcast came out, I sent out an email, the podcast tonight.
Yeah.
Over 50,000 people are going to get an email saying, hey, in case you missed it, check out, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And over time, you're going to build an audience.
Yeah.
That's lead generation through podcasting. But see, this is just one of the things that most people don't come from it from a marketing standpoint. They don't come from it from a business standpoint because everybody was just coming from the creativity side. You know, we got to have, some of our podcasts are great. Some of them, even I'm bored with.
Sure.
You can't hit a home run all the time.
What's Dave Chappelle say? He goes, I get paid for the attempt.
I get paid for the attempt. But the point is,
never get your money back.
But we've been able to sustain decent numbers over the years simply because of marketing, having these tools. We started out, I used MailChimp and WordPress. Now we've got the app.
What do you think that is that sets that apart, though? What's the what's the real world application of you're emailing them more and you're saying they're reminded of your podcast more?
Oh, yeah. I'm out in front of them all the time. They're subscribing to the iTunes and Stitcher. But I would say, we get a little over 10,000, 11,000.
You would say it's that communication.
It's just that constant communication.
Yep.
And there's going to be times like I don't send it out. I've got my list tagged. So here's the deal. When I'm speaking more about mindset that dips into some spiritual things at times, then I might, talk to, my church group.
Yeah.
My faith-based group. We'll be back right after this. So sorry about that. Tesla just came up to the door. I've been trying to get this tail light condensation thing fixed, and then they show up when we're doing the podcast.
He has water. He has condensation inside the car somehow.
Inside the lens of the.
And they were able to fix that like it was nothing. Right?
I think it's 5 minutes.
Yeah, it's like there's literally water inside the frame of the car. And he's like, no problem.
No problem.
You show him the 2 centimeter scratch, and he goes, you have to get a whole new front end.
I'll have front end on that.
We can't do nothing about that.
Expensive.
You got water out of the inside of the car frame like it was nothing.
It wasn't the car frame, it's the taillight lens. But
yeah, I'm just saying, seems a little silly.
But back to the podcasting, that's just another way of generating leads. And, if you're a content creator out there, you need to be saving your list. The loot's in the list, and that's what we've always said. No matter if you're in business or your podcast is a business, your blog's your business, whatever your content management platform is that you're using, you definitely want to do that. So the Congress and the senators, the House and Senate, they're telling us, where the money's going. One of the things that we talked about earlier was, just the way we navigate that conversation when we bring a lead in. And we've got some older campaigns that we designed 2 weeks ago that's just every time you talk to someone, it's like, boom, boom, that's a quality conversation. And the newest campaign, we're learning how to modify and change that.
We're also working in a different market too.
Well, that's because, it's a different market. And so it's a whole new campaign in that particular market. That's what's going on there. I did want to talk real briefly, if you'll notice the folks tonight, we're not doing commercials. We're getting right into lead generation, the business end of this thing and all that. One of the things I wanted to tell people about was we get questions all the time about the list that we offer, and you guys pull the list, River, you guys pull the list. And one of the biggest problems we get when people order lists is they want, people that make $500,000 a year with an 800 credit score, and we want everybody in Frog Level, Alabama that's got that.
All the time.
Well, there might be 2 people in the whole state that has that criteria. So if, our lists are 1,000 data point list. So you get 1,000 leads, a lead list that is filtered and scrubbed. And we need to probably break that down. What does it mean to be filtered and scrubbed? Because I know this is just jargon for us.
I don't know who runs the DNC list, but it's scrubbed against their list.
It's the national it's the federal do not call list. People have asked not to be
dialed out
to, and so they can put their information on the national.
And it's important that you're calling people that have been scrubbed against that list, because if you do not, and you call somebody that has specifically requested,
you can be in trouble.
Yeah, now you're asking for a lawsuit, basically.
Yeah, just please take my money.
Yeah, and you kind of deserve it.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, yeah.
I mean, let's just be honest. Like, how many times have you gone, I'm tired of getting robo-dialed, and then I'm imagining these people have taken the extra steps to go figure out where this DNC list is and get taken off of
it. For anyone that's taken the time to figure out where it's at to go fill it out, they want to be left alone.
And you should leave them alone.
The perpetual get off my.
Yeah. They have made a public statement that says, I'm not buying anything. Leave me alone.
Leave me alone.
Which is fine. That's totally fine. That's what they should.
So that's what it means to be filtered and filtered against demographic filters, age, income, the region of the country, credit rating. Do they own a home? Those kinds of things. That's the filtration.
That's that wide net that we kind of always talk about.
Yeah.
Anybody can cast a wide net, right?
Yeah.
This, what it does is it really efficiently casts that net.
Narrows it down.
Because it narrows that net, and it still makes it wide enough that you can go, all right, I want a wide net, but of only these specific type of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
And it is cool. And so there's some strategies that we show you how to target a specific region and specific income bracket and credit rating, and what offers to make. Because, it makes no sense to offer something that you got to have a 650, 700 credit rating to people that's got a 500. It makes no sense sometimes to be offering certain types of products or services in a region of the country that there's going to be very few people find value in that. If I'm talking about life coaching, personal life coaching, and, advancing your personal and professional life to a new level, but I'm targeting an area of the country or a specific area in the country that may be low income, work that you're just not going to find. You need to be more around a different area that's going to have different demographics. I mean, it has nothing to do with anything but just the mindset within those particular regions, and you got to be smart about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's just...
Well, realistically, what it's doing is you're saving other people time as well as your own.
Yeah.
Because you're not, you don't want to have a conversation with somebody that's not in the market for what you're offering.
It's just, and that's one of the problems people get into with marketing, and they say, I can't do this. No, you can. You just got to be,
just got to think about it a little more.
Just got to think about it a little bit more. And that's why you want those filtered and scrubbed data. Opted in means that we've got over 250 million opted in leads which means that they have filled out a form at some point and said it's okay to send me information. And so that's the reason why. Now, one of the things that people have got to understand about data list is, typically speaking, the national average bounce rate on email, specifically data, is 58%, believe it or not. 58%, if you go out and buy a list, 58% of them, you're going to get a bounce. And the reason is because they've been marketed to so much that people have closed those accounts or set filters, or Gmail or Yahoo or whoever has basically shut it down. And so because of that, you got to have an expectation when you're buying data. You're going to have a bounce rate. Ours has been around 33 and 35% bounce, but you got to expect it. Okay. You just have to expect that. But how would you use this? Well, if you're in the restaurant business, let's talk about that. How would you use a filtered scrub data list? Well, let's say, for instance, I own a pizzeria and I want people within a 10-mile radius of my restaurant. I could target a specific zip code. I could target a specific type of, like it's a family, if it's a family type restaurant. There's all kinds of things I could do. And now I've got their mobile number and I've got their email. And so I could do text messages to them. I could do email messages to them. I could offer them a free whatever to come in on Tuesdays. There's all kinds of things you could do to drive traffic to your restaurant. If you are a salesperson, then, especially if you're in insurance, think about this. You got a particular product that's got underwriting criteria. It's only for people 65 and up or 65 and under, or it's got to be, or that people that are buying this own homes. Well, you can target only homeowners in a specific region. And because I know it's that region and it's homeowners, then when I'm talking to them or I'm emailing and texting, I'm having a conversation that fits who I'm talking to.
You're joining the conversation.
I'm joining the conversation. Churches and schools, how do they use that? Well, if you've got a thing going on, an event going on, a game, a promotion, a fundraiser, whatever it is, that's a way that you can reach outside of who goes to church there, who goes to school there, and say, hey, come join us. We're having this or doing this. And it's really, really cool. And here's the thing that people need to understand. You can go to leadsbyterry.com, leadsbyterry.com. You can get 1,000 filtered scrub data for $29. Now, I challenge you, go look at USA Data, look at Melissa Data, look at Sales Genie, look at Info Free, look at all these companies. It is anywhere from $50, $60, $100 and up for the same type of data. And actually, I would argue it's not as good data. And you're getting it at wholesale for $29.
People will notice a pattern of a lot of what we do, and I'm being connected to the business. I'm pretty proud of it. What we do is we offer what a lot of people offer, but we take that extra step to go, number one, what we're giving you is a value. We've proven it because we use it ourselves.
Right.
We don't include things that we don't use typically. And if we do, it's in our history, you cut it out.
Right.
If you're not using something and you're finding it's it's adding more difficulty to even include it in our service.
And there's one that we got right now that's on the chopping block. It's headed, and that's Elementor.
Yeah.
Because we just can't get them to service certain things, and there's really no reason to have them anymore with this app and the page with the way that thing's. So if we can't get that thing where we want it, we probably won't renew this year.
Which is, I would say that's a step that for a small software owning company that we are, that's huge, because I have pieces of software that I use for either my business or just games or whatever. Everybody has them, and they never get. They'll have issues with the software, and I can look back 5 years later, and I can come back to the same piece of software and be like, that thing is still there. They didn't ever fix this, and so we take out the things that we don't use because we want there to be value there.
Right.
And so you look at it, it's cheaper, and then we train you. And then we go, because here's the other thing. What do you do with all that data that you get? I mean, what we showed you is how you cast that wide net. And then we showed you that, like, hey, we're showing you how to do this affordably too, because our prices, we match you wholesale. You're not going to get them cheaper anywhere else. Go look, we'll show you. And it's, once we do that as well, we're going, now here's the next steps. Here's all the other pieces of software. This is how you convert these leads. This is how you turn this lead into, this is in the market that I want. It's filtered and scrubbed. Now I've got, the ideal candidate for my client. Well, how do I manage this client? How do I reach out to them in an effective manner? We do all of that as well. We show you how to do it.
We'll show you case studies and everything. And just got, here in the public, I can give you a quick, easy, proof of concept here. go back and listen to the episode right here, 503. And at the very end, you don't have to listen to the whole thing. At the very end, I give a case study how, I won some awards and really got on the map of doing this was when I was in the insurance. And I was working with a particular insurance company, and I was using this data.
Yep.
And I was texting them. And I said, hey, this is Terry with 89healthplan.com. You qualify, blah, blah, blah. And I did a voicemail drop and I did a text. And the reason it was so effective is because with this data, I knew, okay, I'm going to target Atlanta and I'm going to target these type of people. So in my scripts, both text and voicemail, I was saying, hey, this is Terry. I'm calling people in Atlanta, Georgia today, or Smyrna or Marietta or wherever I was calling because I was targeting specific. The reason I'm calling is because there's an open enrollment going on and it ends this Friday. Go to 89 Health Plan. Well, the call to action, I'm speaking to that region. I know that, it just makes sense when you know that much data.
And when Terry's talking about this stuff, this is kind of what I'm getting into because I don't come from the insurance space, but what he gives you is a lot of different templates that he's using a real world example, because I use this in my sales calls as well, is we started as a tool, not an opportunity. And there's a difference there. If you start as an opportunity and you look back later and you go, no, there's value, but you started off the whole progress with, I want to sell this. There's nothing wrong with that, but I would argue there's more value in the tool that goes, no, we used this as a tool first. That's all we did. You couldn't buy it. It wasn't for sale. We used it for us because it works.
Right.
When we figured out that it works and other people were interested, and this is what a lot of people, they forget the origination story, but it's the fact that you were in insurance. It did really well. You won awards. You went to Fiji. You did the Tony Robbins thing. That is what gave it validity to go, oh, you guys are interested in this too?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you guys care about this?
That's the whole reason it never occurred to me to sell a training and system.
Yeah.
It only occurred to me, I was trying to solve my own problems.
Right.
And in doing so, it solves, because everybody in business has the same, it didn't occur to me at the time, but everybody that has a product or service has the same issue.
Yeah. How do I talk to people? How do I get in front of
people?
Yeah.
How do I close those people?
Now we're going even further. As we progress, it used to just be, how do we get in front of people?
Right.
That's kind of like for our MO for the longest time. It's like, well, we help you get in front of people.
Yeah.
We still do that, obviously, but what we're learning is, or maybe it's just becoming easier. It's easier now for us to get in front of people. Yeah. We don't have a problem getting in front of people.
We can generate as many leads as we want anytime we want.
Yeah, now it becomes like,
that's not the issue.
How do we track? How do we manage? How do we make sure these go to the right coaches? Because that's the other thing. This is the behind the scenes stuff. The way we use this is a way any corporate business could use this, because what we're doing is I'm vetting a lot of these people. I'm talking to them. I'm making sure they're legit. I'm making sure they're good leads. And that's why we can confirm, hey, this thing's working because I'm doing it every day. These are awesome. And then what we're going is we've got pipelines for each one of our coaches. And little secret here, you like to say, dirty little secret. Each one of our coaches is a little bit better at some things than others. Some are great at sales. Some are great at tech. Some people need help in sales. Some people need help with support. Some people need help with just managing their business. Okay. We've got coaches. We pass them off based off the need. If you're in a corporate business, if you're in a leasing office, if you're in a dentistry, pizza, it doesn't matter.
Right.
You can use these tools. They're
Absolutely.
Applicable and they're helpful.
And they're helpful.
Oh my God, they're helpful.
Well, that goes back. I don't care what you're in. You're going to, if you're going to stay in business, you're going to have a system. It might not be my system, but you're going to have a system like this, or you're not going to be in business.
Yeah.
And the trajectory of the economy, the society, as being telegraphed by the people
that run it,
who are legislating,
the people that control, the money, or at least where the money is going to get regulated and go.
They're saying the same thing. So,
and it makes sense.
Yeah. Well, I just want to tell you guys, if you want to take advantage of that, if you're a non-member, go over to terrywilson3.com/5 free offer. That's terrywilson3.com/5 free offer. You will see right there a training. I'm going to create some leads for you, but in doing so, I'm going to train you as well. And all I'm doing is I'm demonstrating our system. That's all I'm doing.
Yep.
I'm giving you a demo, but it's sort of like the old timeshare thing. I'm going to give you this, but you got to sit here and listen to this pitch.
That was the other thing I wanted to mention really quickly.
Yeah.
So I said at the beginning, I wanted to get in front of, the owner of my leasing office, right? What's really cool about our product is you can set up a demo for any industry, and you have. For salons.
Just bring my laptop.
And so, honestly, this is what it looks like for at least sales guys. If I ever get to approach this, she's really difficult to get a hold of. I've tried. But if I get a hold of her, it's like, let me do this. Don't buy anything. Don't even talk with me. Give me a day. Let me set you up what it would look like for your thing. I can set you up a demo site. I will show you the real world application that will work for you. There's not a lot of other software that you can do that, at least in a sales conversation. The fact that I can go beforehand and be like, let me show you what it would look like for your business in like a day. Just give me the conversation. That's so valuable. That is so valuable.
Because the proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
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 That's awesome. It gets me excited because it's like, I get really pissed off when there's bad communication in business because I'm learning how important it is. I learned the sales that I lose whenever I don't, close something because I had poor communication.
Well, because you're leaving loose ends out there.
Yeah, I leave money on the table. What they're doing is, what I see certain people doing is the exact same thing, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that we have a solution for that is great.
Well, I think, and we've talked about it, and you guys know this, I think the where our country and society is going is I see a trend where we're going back to individual small mom and pop owned businesses. You know, and if you're going to work for this large entity, you're going to be more of a contract person, freelance type person, which means you're going to have these tools and you just sort of supply the service, and you might work for that company that day in this company, and you set your own. I just see that, and that's why I think
I think you're spot on.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm gonna give you a real world example. We were going to a chain restaurant the other night, that one of my favorite Mexican restaurants, and I won't mention the names because I had terrible service. And anyway, we won't get into that. But on the way there, we pass a Walgreens, and it literally looks like Walgreens is on fire. And at first, I thought there was a car parked right in front of the store.
Oh yeah,
that was on fire. And then when we got around it, we saw someone either threw a cigarette or threw something in the trash can, and it caught on fire.
Wow!
And it literally started melting the awning, and black smoke. I mean, this thing was getting up 3 to 4 feet.
How does our CRM help this? No, I'm joking.
I want to tell you how. Well, that's been 3 or 4 days now.
Sorry, keep going.
I'll tell you how. It's been 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
And that trash can is still sitting there. That smoke and all of the is still there. And why? Because that's a corporate place. The ownership is so far removed.
Yep.
It doesn't see it, and these guys that work there, it's not their problem.
Yeah.
And so they're not going to care about it. But see, if that was Smith Drugs in Forest City, owned by the Smith family, been there forever. I guarantee you, once that was taken care of, that would have been cleaned up within 30 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
It would not be sitting. I guarantee you, had I gone to the restaurant and ate at a more locally owned restaurant,
there's a Willy Taco here, and that happened.
That would not have happened. That would not have happened.
Absolutely not.
And so the trajectory, because when we went up to the Northeast into Maine and all of that, did you notice the restaurants that were locally owned, we had great service.
Yeah.
The corporate chain restaurants, they're having a hard time even getting employees there anymore. They're having a hard time.
Yep.
I honestly believe the trajectory is going back toward we're getting out of the Walmartification of our economy, which means what we're doing here, which means individuals who used to be dependent on, hey, I'm a Walgreens person and I'm a pharmacist. And so Walgreens is going to take care of bringing me my clients. Walgreens is going to take care of bringing all of this. And I'm using it maybe as a poor example.
Sure.
But
that's spot on.
But if I'm an individual, I've got to have these apparatuses and these tools and everything to manage my business, to bring, you just have to. And that's why I think what we're doing here is just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger.
That's why people move away from these corporate companies too, as far as employees go and as far as customers. Once there's that removal of the upper head, right?
Too far gone.
You're too far gone, and then the people you're paying hourly are not going to care about it.
It ain't their business.
It's not their business. They're not going to go that. They're just not going to. And I'm looking today. You look at men my age. I think it's 60 to 75% are not going to college. There's nothing wrong with that. What that really tells you though is, guys my age on average are not looking for corporate positions anymore.
Right. The value, they've lost the value proposition.
Yeah.
It just.
And most of the guys I talk to my age, even the ones that are in college, their ambitions are no longer, oh, I want to get picked up from this accounting firm, or I want to. They're going, I really want to own my own business. And they're looking at different ways to own their own business.
Absolutely.
I've got, I know it's anecdotal, but I know other people they're seeing this as well. I know you're seeing it. I talk to people. It feels like right now is not the time to go join some corporate business. Now's the time to own your own. Yeah. Really. Like, look at what it is that you're passionate about, even if it has nothing to do with us.
Right. It has not,
totally fine.
Because it can sound like it's self-serving, and that's why I say whether you get our system or not, whether you join this business or not,
you need these tools.
You need these tools, and I wrote a book about it. I live a life about it. I talk about it all the time, but I honestly, genuinely believe this. Even if you are working for someone else, everybody needs that thing that they can call their own, that they pour their life into, even if it's just a little side hustle, because I just think at the end of the day, you're not going to be satisfied. Plus it mitigates against some bad mindsets, because I honestly believe if all I do is constantly build someone else's dream, do something else, nothing wrong with that. But if that's all I do, I have given myself an out that I can always say, well, I'm not where I want to be because of X. By starting my own little side hustle, it disciplines me to take a little bit of responsibility and take some excuses off the table. And I'm just talking for me. I'm not talking about anybody else. But I need that accountability. I need that, because I know me. If I pour myself 110% into only this thing, and I don't have anything over here that I can call my own, then at the end of the day, I can blame everything.
Yeah.
I can make that person the boogeyman for every woe that I have. And that's not good for Terry. That's just not good for Terry, And by the way, I'm starting today. I started deadlifting and squats with free weights for the first time.
Let's go. Let me know when you do some squats. I'll go squat with you.
Well, Bert's working me on the
Smith machine.
No, not he's just the form. I'm just doing a regular, just an empty rod.
Just the barbell.
Just the barbell, just to get the form down, so I don't hurt myself.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah. But here again, I need that. I need discipline. I need, some sort of mechanism out here that's sort of something that's holding me accountable. Because if I don't, well, it's McDonald's fault.
There's a good book out there by Dan Sullivan and someone else that's a doctor, but I just remember Dan Sullivan because it's on the cover. And it's called The Gap in the Gain. Yeah. And basically, the summary, I'm doing this poorly. Read the book for yourself. There's more to this message than what I'm about to say, but this is what I got from it. It's called The Gap in the Gain, right? You realize happiness is a choice. You realize that the struggle, you can choose to be happy in it or not.
Yeah.
When you're successful, you can choose to be happy or not.
That's right.
You see people that make it. Sometimes they're happy, sometimes they're not. So you realize your circumstances aren't what drives happiness. Your mindset is.
That's exactly right.
And so what do you do with that? Well, you're either in the gap, you're getting gapped, you're in that struggle, and you're farther away from your ambitions, your goals, what you really want out of life. Yeah. Or you're in the gain. You're in the struggle, but you're gaining. Right. It's all a lesson you're learning. And so it's up to you to decide, what's my mindset right now? Am I in the gap or am I in the gain?
Yeah.
Yep. And so
I like that.
When you start your business, you're going to have a lot of feelings that are the gap. Right? Yeah. But you have learned a lot of it is not a gap. You're in the gain. It's just a lesson to be learned for later.
I articulate it this way, and I stole it from Guy Kawasaki. He says, sometimes I win, and sometimes I learn. But I never lose.
Yeah.
And it's just the way you frame, your losses. Yeah. It's not a loss if you learn something by it. The only time it's a loss is when I took it on the chin and I didn't understand why I just got hit.
Yeah.
If I didn't learn a lesson, it's so funny. Yeah, and we got to wrap up here. I know we're going long.
We're having too much fun.
But at karate the other day, poor Izzy.
No, not poor Izzy. Izzy kicks really hard. Screw Izzy.
Izzy got his head snapped back.
Oh, really?
They were sparring.
Yeah.
And he said, I didn't realize they were going to hit so hard. And I said, that's the way he goes, but that hurt. And I was like, well, how are you going to prevent that again? He goes, oh, I'm going to be watching next time. I know that movie. I'm going to have, and I says, that's the only way you learn. I says, you now know. He says, I remember him telling you 2 or 3 times, keep your hands up, keep your hands up. and it didn't register.
Yeah.
I guarantee you.
Oh yeah.
When he says keep your hands up next time, your hands are coming up.
There's some lessons you only learn that way.
It's just words until you get a bloody
I don't
nose.
move into an apartment without taking a picture of every single space now. I'm just telling you, there's some lessons you got to go through something to learn. Like, oh, people will take advantage of you.
That's exactly right. So, guys, if you're a non-member and you want to take advantage of it, go to TerryWilson3.com/5 free offer. If you're a non-member and you would like to get some leads for less than 2 cents, that's 1,000 leads for $29. You can go to leadsbyterry.com. That's leadsbyterry.com.
And if you have any questions for us, you can go to TerryWilson3.com. That's it. And then just fill out the chat bot and you can ask your questions there.
Or text 864-507-9696. 864-507-9696. Until next time, this is us. Oh, wrong one.
Thank you for listening to our show today at TerryWilson3.com.
Get a free sample copy of the book You Are Worth More by going to TerryWilson3.com now.
If you would like more information on how we can take your money, your business, and your life to the next level, then please visit us online at TerryWilson3.com.